Welcome back, guys, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome back. Episode 11. Now, welcome, Daniel. How are you this week?
Good morning.
Good morning,
I'm good.
Daniel.
Yes, it's an early one.
Yeah.
It is definitely an early one.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Nothing much, just bouncing back from what was a great event in episode 10.
Speaking about last week, I don't know how we're going to top this. I don't know how we're going to top that. That was amazing. It was a spectacle. It ran so smoothly. It was ridiculous. The content was there. Some great opinions from the audience. And I can't wait to do it again.
Yeah, it was a success. I'd say.
Apparently, we're in talks with the Horta Pavilion for episode 20.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
How was your week?
It was good. Obviously, Mum's birthday on Friday. Things got a little bit hectic.
Rager.
Wasn't supposed to be that hectic, but it got hectic. It got very extremely silly. I didn't know Mumsy had that type of silly nature in her.
I didn't think she had it in her either. I thought she was going to be. She said to me before, well, obviously it was a surprise.
Yeah.
But I was told before that they'd be home by 7:30.
I was planning 8 o'clock, 3 hours sitting. But things got a little bit crazy, as the dog goes crazy, and as we go crazy into what is it, Daniel?
10 for 10.
Let's go. I'll start us off this week, Daniel. I've been thinking a lot came up last week, and something that took my attention was the pressure of naming people, naming a baby, naming a kid, considering the last name. So for us, our last name DiGiovanni, you wouldn't really name your child Emily DiGiovanni. You know what I mean? Emily DiGiovanni.
Yeah.
Kobe DiGiovanni.
Yeah,
it's got that
double.
annoying tang to it, right?
Yeah.
So you'd rather call them Lonzo, LeBron, or Zoe, right?
Yeah.
So then Josh Gaddis's relative's last name is Habib.
Yes.
What do you think his first name is?
I don't know. What is it?
Habib.
Habib.
His name is Habib. So there is extremely...
It's got a nice ring to it.
It does, but it's just, anything else besides Habib.
Is he related to Nathan Habib?
No idea who that is. No idea who that is.
If you know, you know. If you know, you know.
But I was just going on about how much pressure there is and how people can fall under the pressure. So if you haven't heard the news, COVID quarantine rules have changed from 7 days to 5 days if you test positive. It's been the talk of our household. Now this move has been pushed by our Prime Minister, Mr. Albanese, who is obviously a diehard South fan. This is all for his beloved South Sydney to be able to field their number 9, Damien Cook, for this week's clash against the Tigers. If the rules stayed at 7 days, Cook would be in quarantine for the game. But Albo has changed the rules.
The Tigers, they're not playing Tigers, they're playing the Chooks.
I said Roosters. Oh. Is this an unfair advantage?
It is. Well, that's corruption. That is, if that goes ahead, that will be on the Roosters fans have that one in their back pocket, definitely, if they lose.
Oh, it's going ahead. And by the time this comes out, it's Team List Tuesday today. So he will be on the team list,
He'll be listed.
Because the 5 days will take him to Friday, I believe. I believe there's a Saturday night clash, I believe. Or it's a day before.
It is.
KSI has done what he said Friday. He was going to do, defeating 2 people in one night, but his opponents were just embarrassing.
They were crap.
It's an LSI for me, seriously.
LSI.
On this point, what is Joe Weller doing? He's come out of the shadows and reignited his beef with KSI by just being a flat-out wanker. He's extremely irrelevant. I don't know if you've seen on TikTok or whatever.
I've seen it.
He's claiming he's had multiple street fights with not only KSI, but his managers. I had respect for Joe Weller, but now he's, talking shit about the sidemen, calling them minions. He's saying he's his own man. He's just come out of nowhere.
I think...
And put this onto KSI.
He has just come out of nowhere, but in the grand scheme of it, I do think, to myself, Joe Weller and KSI started that whole thing, and Joe Weller's just been left in the dirt. You know what I mean?
That's his problem.
He what would it be different if he was on that first Logan Paul KSI card? He would probably be fighting still today.
Chet Holmgren, the newly drafted NBA superstar for the Oklahoma City, has been ruled out of his first NBA season after suffering a season-ending foot injury. Now, it was in a Pro-AM game. LeBron James drove in on him. He fell backwards a little bit, couldn't handle the king. So this is my welcome to the league Rook moment. Welcome to the league, Rook. Sit on the sidelines for a year and then come back.
It is, because the whole thing around Chet was, is he built for the NBA?
Moving on to my next point. Should lanky, light-weighted big men be a thing of the past in the NBA? The talent is there, but the physical durability is missing massively. I mean, you look at Kevin Durant. He hasn't played a full season in a long, long time, but he's one of the best.
I don't think Kevin Durant is in the same weight class as Chet Holmgren. Kevin Durant, if you've seen old pictures of him, he's put on a lot of muscle. Chet needs to hit the weight room. That's what I'm saying. The whole thing was, can he defend these, superstar players? And he tries to defend LeBron once, and he's out for the year.
Hasbulla and Shaq are in the country. How big do you reckon Shaq's crown jewels are?
No comment. What type of question is that?
And then I've got this next point here. Hasbulla has the best job in the world. He literally does nothing.
He is. Well, he
just walks. He just tours the world.
He's a phenom.
And takes photos with everyone, does events. He literally...
Well, he actually, he doesn't take photos with women.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah. But he literally does nothing. Like nothing. He's just Hasbulla, that's it.
Yeah, well, that's his brand. That's his personality. He's branded himself to be a star. He saw him at Josh Adokar.
Yeah.
I actually saw him at John Bernard.
Yeah.
He met him and he punched him in the face, and John Bernard actually said, "Do it harder."
Wow.
So he got punched about 3 times.
He would be a freaky human to meet in life, Hasbulla. I reckon I'd...
Yeah, he'd be, you wouldn't know what his next move is. Anyway, Joel, on to mine. Now, the past 2 weeks, as a West Tigers fan, I've actually never met a West Tigers player in my life, Joel. The past 2 weeks, I've met two West Tigers players. At the same venue, Bungalow 8 in Darling Harbour. Yep. So the first week it was Tommy Talau, and I didn't know it was him. I was like, "Are you Tommy Talau?" And he said, "Yeah, bro." And then I said, "I go for the Tigers," and his reaction to me was, "No way." It's like he didn't believe me.
I wouldn't believe him.
This week was, not as well known, Sean Bloor.
No idea who that
Tigers
is.
front row. Anyway,
how many games?
A couple. He's injured. I said, "Are you Sean Bloor?" He goes, "Yeah." He was really nice to me. And I was like, "I go for the Tigers." He goes, "Oh, sorry, bro, we're shit." So is this? Have I debunked the problem at Leichhardt? The Tigers players don't even have their mentality is very negative, as I've found.
Look, there's been an attitude problem there for the last 10 years, I think. It's obviously disgusting to hear a Tigers player say that towards a Tigers fan. But, maybe it's what they need, the realism.
On the topic of that, obviously met them on a night out. Joel, on Saturday I went out for my friend's sister Kenzie, my friend Jacob's sister Kenzie's birthday, and it was a prepaid event at Slim's in the city, Slim's rooftop. So
you would have loved that.
So I chipped in for it, but it was like you prepaid for it, and there was a bar tab, right? And there was a bit of a conspiracy that at the start of the night, people were getting vodka Red Bulls on the bar tab, which is a little bit more expensive than, say, a vodka lemonade. But then halfway through, they said that's not allowed. So why is a vodka Red Bull more? On the point of drink prices, yes, Red Bull's a bit more of a premium item. But what is stopping me from having it on the tab? Like, just charge $15 on the tab if that's how much it costs. It was a really big dispute. It was a really big dispute on the night.
Bar tabs are one of those things where you got to show some type of etiquette. I mean, $15.
What do you mean? It's being paid for.
If someone's getting a $10 drink, even it out, get a $10 drink as well. Don't be a wanker and get the $15
Yeah,
drink.
don't go get 2 for yourself.
Seriously.
Hint. Anyway, Joel, yesterday I was at the gym, and this is something that I thought was very strange.
What?
I walk in and I see a man with his wife doing, how sweet, doing a workout. The man turns around and he has a baby strapped to his chest.
Respect.
But is that speaking of is that okay for the child? Because what if he's doing like the lat pull downs?
Was he?
And he just clocks the baby in the head.
Was he on the machine with the baby, or was he just standing around with the baby?
I'm not too sure, but he was in. His attire would say that he was there to exercise.
Get him in early. That's what what they say. Get him in early.
Yeah, the baby's getting jacked.
His growth will be stunt, but it's worth it.
Okay, Joel. Number 4, the Cronulla Sharks, specifically Renato Mulatalo, has come out and said that he hasn't signed a contract extension because he's obviously worth a bit. He's a great player, but he's saying you can't buy memories, right, with his current squad. So the Cronulla Sharks want to stick together without the concern of money, the current squad. So what are our thoughts on that? I think it's great. I think it's, they obviously want to build something bigger for the future.
Yeah.
And lead to what they hope would be a premiership.
Look, it's obviously a great call from Ronaldo. I think if they do stick together, there might be one who decides to grab the money.
Yeah,
but
there will be one.
If the core decides to stick together, they're obviously a great chance to win a comp. It's a great initiative by Ronaldo, but, you know, Ronaldo, is he a top 5 winger? Would the Sharks prefer someone else? That's the question.
Well, wow. Would the Sharks prefer someone else?
Josh Mansell's on the market.
Josh Mansell.
Hint, Melbourne Storm.
Anyway, on the topic of Shaq, Joel, this is the last one. I saw a video of Shaquille O'Neal on Fitzy and Whipper.
Yep.
And he said that he has a story about Stevie Wonder.
Yep.
Saying that he used to live in the same building as him, and said one time Shaq was in the elevator.
Yep.
And Stevie got in. Stevie Wonder, who of course claims to be legally blind.
Fully blind, cannot see a thing.
So Stevie Wonder gets in.
Great musician.
And then he says, so it's only him and Shaq. Mm-hmm. And Shaq goes, Stevie said to me, hello, Shaq. But how? So, like, I'm watching this video, I'm saying, like, what's wrong with that? But if Stevie Wonder is blind, how does he know Shaquille O'Neal is in the elevator with him?
How?
You know what I mean? And he said, he pressed his button. But the button I thought is kind of okay because they have, like, the braille.
Yeah.
Maybe use that. But how would he know Shaq is in the elevator?
I thought that was a great story from Shaq. It's one of the great stories.
Leading off that, Joel.
Yeah.
What are we going into next?
Well, leading on conspiracies, we've already mentioned a couple of this. It might be the theme of the epi. Conspiracy Corner. Now, there's multiple conspiracies going on in the world, and it's great to have a chat about them because people think about conspiracies, but they never act upon them. So, I've got a couple here, Daniel. So obviously one of the probably the most well-known conspiracies is that the Simpsons creator Matt Groening, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, the creator of the Simpsons is a time traveler.
I've heard this one.
Now there's been multiple events where the series The Simpsons has depicted something that's happened like years later on. So the show is famous for depicting events in that match real world events often before they happen. Here are a few honourable mentions. Smartwatches were predicted in 1995 and came true in 2014. The show depicted them as literally cell phones on your wrist, and now that's basically what they are, just on a very small screen.
Yep.
Obviously not too deep, that one.
That one's not too deep,
but still, it's something, like 20 years before. In 2000, they predicted Trump running for president.
This is a big one.
They even had the red tie and him waving as he goes down the escalator. Have you seen that clip?
Yeah, and he actually did it.
Now, that's not only spooky, it's actually quite scary.
The accuracy is what makes it
I believe it was the same hand as well, same uniform. And they actually predicted that if Trump got elected, it would be like crazy and the world would...
Yeah, like it would be like a unexpected.
Unexpected. What happened? He got elected. It was crazy. It was unexpected. In 1993, the show also depicted the COVID-19. They showed a package from Osaka, Japan, giving everyone a very contagious disease. Now, I couldn't name heaps more.
That's a bit of a stretch.
No, it's the truth. It's the truth. But, you know, with the conspiracies, how come why don't we believe in the Simpsons program? I mean, in 1993... shouldn't we prepare if someone saw a package in Osaka, Japan that looked contagious, could spread a disease? Wouldn't someone stop it?
Yeah, true. But I actually saw something, now that we're talking about it. I think I was watching The Simpsons the other day and there was an ad for like an episode where they're going to explain how they have predicted all these things.
That'll be interesting to see.
What if in the episode it is like legitimately he is a time traveler?
Wouldn't shock me, because we are in a simulation. Wouldn't not shock me.
Oh God!
So then the creator himself created a new series titled Futurama. Future Armor. Armor.
He knows what's happening.
He's a time traveler. Now I'm not too familiar with that series, but. I'm sure there is stuff predicted in that as well. But Futurama. Is that not just... Yeah, moving on.
It's like he's pulling the wool over everyone's eyes by creating it as a cover-up.
He's doing it. Moving on.
We've got another one.
Birds aren't real.
This one is
Wouldn't I love for this to be true? So this one was developed by Peter McLenode. I believe I'm pronouncing that wrong. Apologies to Peter.
I don't think Peter's a listener, so you never know. But if you're listening, Peter, we're sorry.
Petey, I'm sorry.
Pete. Come on, let's go.
Throughout the year of 2017, so quite recent, stating that they aren't real, but rather surveillance drones by the US government.
Yes.
Now, this is obviously based in America. Calls have been emphasized that there has been a bird genocide.
Genocide?
With the CIA replacing them with lookalike drones. So do you know what a genocide is?
Yes. Oh, yes.
They basically have killed every single bird in America and replaced them with drones that look the same. Now, Daniel, tell me why. Now, this is an Australian example, particularly Coogee example, particularly Melbourne example. Seagulls, okay? Seagulls at Amy Park. Why are they there?
I don't know. That's just where
you obviously know when Storm play
there's a lot of seagulls.
They are known for having seagulls on the pitch. I have actually been shat on by a seagull while sitting down at the stadium. Why are they there? Why are they there?
Why would they be spying on the Melbourne Storm?
Where the fuck is the beach at Amy Park? Where? Where is the beach at Amy Park?
On this birds aren't real point, Joel, I want you to answer this for me. Have you ever seen a baby pigeon?
No. That's
exactly.
The thing.
No one has. And the argument is that, I was talking about this the other day. They're in the nest when they're a baby. But there's no way they stay in the nest until they're a full-size adult.
Where is the pigeon's nest?
Yeah, have you ever seen a pigeon's nest?
I've actually never seen a baby bird besides a chicken.
Well,
chick.
Oh, I'm only saying pigeon for that. Maybe seagull. Where does a seagull lay a nest?
Is a chicken classified as a bird?
Yes.
Okay.
But I don't think chickens because you eat chicken.
And so basically this Peter bloke, he started this conspiracy as a joke, and then it turned into a franchise. So basically, he's got merchandise and stuff. He protests weekly, and basically his motto is, "If it flies, it spies."
I like that. I like that from Peter.
And that opens up a whole other can of worms, considering what flies around this world.
And what do birds eat, Joel? Worms. Can of worms.
Moving on, Daniel. Moving on. Let's take our conspiracy hats on and let's put our sporting caps on. For that's not ridiculous.
That's not ridiculous. That's not ridiculous to say that.
It's not ridiculous.
Last week we had some great conversations, and I tell you what, I love having good conversations with people who know nothing about rugby league because I feel so fucking superior. Blaine Potter.
Oh. Blaine, there was a lot of comments about how Blaine was like, so South have got 21. How many do Bulldogs need to win? That was poor.
And I'll say it. There is some delusional fans who just don't listen. Like, I'm trying to have a conversation with someone, and they just South.
Yes, it's selective hearing.
Be open. Be not so subjective, but objective to listening to opinions. Anyway, moving on. My first take for this week, Daniel, is that this one's really hot. And I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's a possibility. It is a possibility that the Panthers could be out of this NRL final series in straight sets. Straight sets, people.
Wow.
And wouldn't everyone love to see that happen? So obviously this week, Panthers have wrapped up the first spot on the ladder. Fourth is up for grabs between the Melbourne Storm and the Parramatta Eels. Okay?
Who are playing each other.
But the thing is, Panthers will verse both those teams no matter what.
Oh, yes.
If that makes sense. So let's just say Storm win this week and finish fourth. It'll be Storm Panthers round 1. Tough game to win for Penrith if Storm decide to show up. If they lose that, which I'm saying they could, if they lose that, they'll verse the winner of 5th and 8th, which will most likely be the Eels. And we all know what happens when Eels versus Penrith. Somehow they get up.
So you're saying the Storm are beating Penrith round 1?
I'm saying it's a possibility the Storm will beat Penrith round 1.
Penrith, is Cleary playing round 1 of the finals?
Correct. And I've got here They will verse. It is an extremely tough run, especially when the whole squad hasn't played together in the last 4 to 6 weeks.
I wouldn't. Okay, I wouldn't. I don't agree with the hasn't played together point because
Well, how do you not agree? It's the truth.
No, it is the truth, but I don't think that'll be as big of a factor as you think in their success. As they're a great team. They know how to play together. And yeah, the Storm did beat them at Bluebet. So you think the Storm are going to beat Penrith, a full strength Penrith at Bluebet?
Look, do you believe in miracles?
Just saying, this is what was said by me last week with South Sydney.
I believe in miracles, and I know that this is audacious, but this might be the biggest choke we've ever seen. Going out in straight sets. I mean, I've already tipped the Cowboys to go out in straight sets, and that's looking lovely, considering Sharks are now second, and they'll verse Cowboys in Cronulla, I believe, or it might be at ANZ. Not too sure.
They should let them play at Shark Park.
Yeah,
that is crap. Because then, if the whole thing is like, if Sharks lose that game or win that game, their prelim's going to be at home, and they're going to play it at the new at Allianz.
Yeah.
What if they're playing against the Roosters? That is so
doesn't
unfair.
Make sense. Doesn't make any sense.
Anyway, Joel, onto my take. Now you've gone NRL. The last couple of weeks, I've gone NRL.
Yeah,
and I think it's been a bit of a success. So I wanted to challenge myself a bit. I've gone NBA. And now, this week, I'm going to sound like a broken record here, but with the news coming out this week that Kevin Durant is staying in Brooklyn, I think the Brooklyn Nets will win the 2022-2023 NBA championship. Or actually, I'll say at least make the finals. They will win the East. They will win the East. They will win the East clearly. Miami, beating them.
Yeah.
Boston, beating them.
Yep.
Who was the third one?
Milwaukee.
One of the biggest ripple effects in NBA history. If Kevin Durant's a shoe size smaller, do they win it last year? You know what I mean? They lose in 7 because his foot was too big and his 3 was a 2.
I just think there's a lot of pressure on them staying healthy.
One of the biggest, yes, that's what I'm saying. If all is healthy, I think they'll beat Philly. I think Philly's a lost cause, to be honest, unless if James Harden doesn't play like he did that MVP year with the Rockets, Philly won't win anything.
What, 5 years ago?
That's what I'm saying. That's what, it's unlikely for it to happen, but that's what he needs.
5 years is a long time.
Don't get me wrong. Philly, they're a good squad with, it's exciting to see what Tyrese Maxey's going to do this year. He's obviously on the come up. Joel Embiid's always good, but Harden is probably the biggest question mark on that team, if he can perform. And, he could drop 30 a game all year, but we only care about when he's in the playoffs, which is usually a choke job.
That's correct.
Yeah, so I'm saying Nets win the East, possibly the chip. I don't see them beating Golden State in 7.
Oh, dude. If Golden State win, wow. Curry has to be top 3 all time. Has to be.
All-time player.
All-time player.
And who's the top 3 with Curry in it if they win this year? You're taking, is Kobe not there?
Rest in peace, Mamba. He's not there.
Wow.
Rest in peace, Mamba. Wow. Rest in peace, Mamba. LeBron, Jordan, Curry. It has to be. Like, he's changed, like, just the impact he's done. It's crazy.
He's changed the game.
It's crazy.
He's much like it's like how Benji Marshall changed the game.
So you're referring Steph Curry to Benji Marshall?
No, I'm saying as influential.
No, that's very interesting, Daniel. Very interesting.
As influential. Benji Marshall changed the game of football.
Okay, so there's probably been about 4 players who played like Benji Marshall. There's probably about...
Benji Marshall changed the game.
Tens of
millions.
Changed the game.
Anyway, what's your next take?
I've got one more here, Daniel. I've heard talks. I've been chatted to. My sources are telling me Ben Hunt will be a Bulldog with this next contract.
I don't know why they'd want him.
What do you mean?
I don't know why they want him.
They don't have a halfback.
But
Bulldogs don't have a halfback.
They've got Cole Flanagan.
Bulldogs don't have a halfback. Ben Hunt has said he wants to stay at the Dragons if his coach Anthony Griffin stays. They're looking to move on Anthony Griffin. I don't know who for, but that's actually part of the contract. He'll re-sign if Anthony Griffin re-signs. The Bulldogs are desperate for a halfback. Gus has come out and said they're looking for a halfback and fullback. Gus just seems to get what he wants. He just seems to get what he wants. He's got Kikau, Reed, Marnie, Serraldo. He got Serraldo. You know, people ruled him out. People ruled him getting Serraldo out. And I can just see Ben Hunt in that team, and wow, what a team that would be. Hunt and Burton in the halves. Kikau on an edge. Marnie at hooker. It's a great spine. If they get a decent fullback in.
I think Avarillo has been all right.
Avarillo's all right, but, you know, there is better out there. You know, Bevan French potentially coming back from England.
Would are you saying you'd take Bevan French over Avarillo at fullback?
100%. 100%.
No. England's a different league.
Yeah, but
it's not the same.
If you're playing in the Bulldogs, you'll shine.
Okay, well, what happened with, what's his name? Dufty's in England, and he came from the Dogs.
Dufty wasn't that bad. I don't know.
Dufty was shocking.
He got let go too early for me, and he's ripping and tearing England right now.
Because England is just not the same.
Way to disrespect England.
It's no disrespect, but it isn't. It's the B League.
Do you have another hot take, or
no? I only had the one.
That's our segment. That's not ridiculous.
That's not ridiculous. That's not ridiculous to say that.
And we weren't ridiculous. I don't think. I think we said some great things.
Should we? I'm trying to think. Like, what do you think our success rate on That's Not Ridiculous is?
Well, mine personally,
a lot of them haven't been decided yet.
Yeah, they're of duration. Like the Cowboys not winning, Nico Hines, Dally M. Once this all comes out, we're going to make that many fucking videos about it.
Yeah. I think the Broncos, like last week, mine about the Broncos is probably on the money.
Spot on. Maybe not the Parramatta one. If Penrith go out in the straight sets, that's another one. If Melbourne Storm win the comp, that's another one.
The Penrith.
Come on.
The Penrith, the Eels one is unbelievable. Like I said it, and then that week they beat Penrith. That was where Cleary got sent off and everything.
Well, we actually thought they were going to lose to the Broncos. Like last week, and we did. Well, and then it was at the time of the take. It was said that Mitchell Moses wouldn't play another game all year. Of course,
you know, times changed. But now,
moving on to everyone's favorite segment.
You just made the list. Oh my gosh!
Now it was hard for me this week. To figure someone out. Do you want to go first?
I do. And before I start, it's been a lot of backlash from last week.
Yeah, can we just talk about that briefly? Seriously, that's
I just want to
assault.
Don't over exaggerate.
I'm not over exaggerating. It was assault.
It's been said.
Shalhoub, we're with you.
Can I speak?
Shalhoub, we're with you.
There's no beef between me and Nick.
Okay.
Yes, watching it back, I thought, I did go in on him. But I thought, in the light of it, that's me and Nick's relationship.
Quite toxic.
Not toxic, but like it's just it's just good banter. Nick was saying to, like, me and Nick, everyone's like, "Are you still talking to Nick?" Yes, I'm still talking to Nick, and Nick's still talking to me. Like it's business. It's not personal. I think the main thing that Nick told me was, it was just the shock that he was on the list in the live audience was what made him, feel that way. But, it'll go down in history as, a list in front of the live audience. And I feel like it's justified in the fact that, go back 9 weeks now to episode 2. The James Allen listing, probably on the List Hall of Fame.
It's episode 1, wasn't it?
Episode 2. That listing was curated by myself and Nick. And it was emphasized that we don't let him off easy. So if that mentality is okay for James Allen, I thought, it's okay for Nick Shalhoub. Anyway, it's fine. It's fine.
I hope it is.
It is.
I hope it is.
Anyway, Joel, this week was very, very tough to to think of a list. And I don't know if you saw during the week, but something happened in the NRL world. And that is why it pains me to say, but the West Tigers.
You just made the list!
The West Tigers are on the list.
What happened this week, Daniel? What happened this week?
This week it was all but confirmed that the West Tigers will be winning their first wooden spoon in the club's history. And I think it's, just look at the ladder here, it's all but confirmed unless the Tigers beat Canberra this week and the Gold Coast lose to the Warriors by at least 70. So, you know.
Well, I can sort of see the Tigers maybe beating Canberra because it is.
I can see it happening too at Leichhardt. Last game of the season.
But the Titans,
4 or 5 p.m. Leichhardt Oval on Sunday.
Warriors beating the Titans by 70 plus. Can't see it happening.
But also, what if the Tigers win 40-0 and the Warriors win 30-0? You know?
Maybe.
Let's go New Zealand. New Zealand's they're playing at Mount Smart as well. I'm not going to get my hopes up. Anyway, you know, it's just been a roller coaster of a year. I'd like to see another team play without their two halves for the second half of the year. But that's another story for another time. But yes, we're in last place.
Two halves? What do you mean?
Jackson Hastings and Luke Brooks.
Hastings, you moved him at lock, and Luke Brooks has been out for the last 5 weeks. Not the second half of the season. You've earned that.
Crunch time for the Tigers. You know, looking on the positive side, at least we've won something. We've won the wooden spoon. And, you know, there's a first time for everything in every club's history. It's the Tigers' first wooden spoon, and I'm hoping it may be their last for a while.
For your sake, Daniel, I hope to. And to all the Tigers fans out there, mate.
And like even the thing I said about Tommy Talau and Sean Bloor, like their reaction to me being a Tigers fan is just making it worse. Like, don't get me wrong, they were really nice guys about it. I had a good chat with them. Like when I saw Tommy Talau, it was actually when it was the night that Tigers got pumped by 66. He didn't play. I was like,
that really says a lot.
I saw him and I was like, Tommy, did you just get pumped? And he was like, no, I'm injured for the season. And I was like, oh, thank God.
Didn't he say thank God?
Yeah, he said that you don't want to be on the field in that.
It really says a lot about the culture at the club. Like, it really does. And the fans want it to change. And
but I'll tell you
it obviously isn't changing.
I'll tell you what the general consensus is based off talking to these two players. They think Sheensy and Benji are the answer. Without even asking, they both said to me, how excited are you for the next 5 years with the coaches? And I was like, are you excited? And they said, all the boys are excited. They want, sorry, Brett Kamali, you're gone. In comes Sheensy, in comes Benji, in comes Robbie with the Lebanese flair, and we will be back to the promised land.
Well, Daniel, for my list mention, I've actually gone along the same lines.
Oh, wow.
I've gone the same lines. First, I just want to mention an honourable mention. Honourable mention here, Sean Nealon. Now, Sunday we went to the gym. We got melon head and food after. Walked back to Coogee Oval to eat our food. I had a sip of Sean's melon head out of the straw. And, he's like that. He doesn't like it if someone sips something and,
Yeah.
But I would have kept the straw. But he took the lid off and the straw out and started sipping it as like out of the cup.
And you think that's an honourable mention for the list?
I'm not done. That's not even it. So he threw the cup lid on the ground and it went on his shoe. There was mango smoothie on his shoe. And then he went to wipe it off his shoe. And as he leant down, like he had his melon head in his hand. And as he leant down, it like spilled. Oh, he's such a dope. No offense. But moving on, Daniel, as I was saying, along the same lines, I've gone to Melbourne Storm.
You just made the list!
Wow.
Oh, my gosh.
So, over the week, Melbourne Storm had the great idea of announcing 5 signings across 5 hours, across 5 different social media platforms, i.e. Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook.
And it was hyped up as well.
Hyped up. I think it was from 2 o'clock to 7 o'clock. 7 o'clock, the 5th signing you think was going to be fucking Cameron Munster or even Nelson. Anyone.
Someone of name. Someone of name.
So not only did we re-sign 3 wingers in the process, we re-signed Green Anderson, who I don't even know what position he plays. I don't know how he's a first grader. And the honourable signing at 7 p.m. prime time was Marion Seven on a 2-year contract. These players aren't in the squad next year. Craig, Frank, Panisi, they aren't in the squad next year. They won't make the 17. And we're re-signing them. We're wasting that crucial cap space instead of spending it on money. On Cameron Munster.
I saw that because I saw the Twitter. You actually said it to me. Let's just talk about how you sent me the Twitter saying signing coming tomorrow, and then you sent me a picture of David Nofaluma. Who do you think you are?
As well.
David Nofaluma is a Tiger for life. Tiger for life.
Nofaluma wasn't even... I thought he was a guaranteed 7 p.m. announcement.
Why would he be? He's a Tiger for life.
He posted on his Instagram a picture of himself smiling and a lock as the caption.
Because he's locked in at Leichhardt.
He retweeted the tweet that Melbourne Storm said they've got big signing news. And there was rumours that... So he's got 2 years on his contract at the Tigers till 2025. There was rumours that he was going to be... Like they were just going to pay the Tigers out and he was going to stay at the Storm for 2 years. It was a match made in heaven. But they decided to go with Marion Seve, Grant Anderson, Dina Ramia, Jaden Nikarima, who doesn't even play in the reserve gate squad, and Seve.
Who is the Storm's reserve
George Jennings. George Jennings!
George Jennings, who probably dropped the premiership last year.
He dropped us the premiership, and I still remember George. I still remember.
But this is, on this topic, Joel, you look at my listing. I'm listing the Tigers for the Wooded Spoon. You're listing the Storm for signing players. This is the elitist privilege that top of the table teams have. You cannot complain that you haven't signed a Tigers. You're complaining you haven't signed a player that's under contract at the Tigers. You know what I mean?
Let's be real here, though. These 5 signings would make the starting squad for the Tigers.
No, they wouldn't.
110%.
No, they would not. No, they would not. Grant Anderson.
Nikarima will play at halfback. Anderson on the
Nikarima
wing.
would play at... Oh, Joel, but see, this is the elitist again.
Seve in the centres. You'd love that.
No.
Eramia on the wing. Victorian grown talent. You'd love that.
This is
ridiculous.
Jennings. Stop. Just stop talking. Just stop talking.
Who is your centre right now that you had for a try scorer?
Asuka Power. Up and coming star.
Never heard of him in my life.
Up and coming star.
Never heard of him in my life.
Yeah, he's actually the one that put his shoulder into Zach Lomax's head to give away a penalty in the last minute.
Not only am I doing this out of anger, I'm doing this because I know we can turn it around. I'm calling them out so we can turn it around and make a strong finals run and make it up to the fans. Because that 5 hours was one of the worst 5 hours of my life.
Oh, are you serious?
What do you mean? It's just the
Storm signing players was one of the worst 5 hours of your life.
I wouldn't even...
Joel, the West Tigers have come last.
Get over the fucking West Tigers. Last. I'm not talking about the West Tigers.
But it's just so elitist.
You can't compare them. I'm not talking about them.
Like it's like you're whinging that your team is good.
Well, Daniel, that's it. That's it. Another episode done.
Hopefully the Tigers listen to this and use the listing as a bit of motivation.
Another episode
Let's
done.
put 70 on Canberra.
What a week. Thanks again for those who came out last week. It was a great fun, great episode. Can't wait to do it again. Have a great week, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this session. Hope you had a laugh. If you're driving, drive safely. If you're at the gym, get on that treadmill and walk competitively, if that makes any sense.
I think that's enough.
Peace, love, and happiness, baby. Let's trot.